So for those that seen my other video before this, it was about patriarchy and Western civilization and how we are dismantling our own civilization because of feminism and all that crap. But there's one thing that I specifically want to, I guess you could say, talk more about, elaborate more on. In that whole speech, I talked about nature and fighting against it and such, and how it's just so prevalent, and how it really does make a lot of sense in a lot of aspects, whether you're willing to admit to it or not, or see it or not. That's up to you. I can lead you to the water, but I can't make you drink it. And that is this. What I said at the end of my other video was, Mother Nature will kick your ass just as much as your own biological nature will. So whether you are fighting a tornado or a hurricane or tidal wave, tsunami, volcano explosion, or fighting against being your own natural self biologically, you're gonna lose. It won't turn out good. It will bring nothing but harm to you, bad things to you. Like throwing a fucking punch at a tornado. What's that gonna do? Nothing good. You're gonna be the one that gets fucked up, not that tornado. So when you're trying to knock out your own gender specific nature assigned attributes and roles in this world, the same thing's going to happen. It's going to come to bite you in the ass. It won't do any good for you or anyone that you know. The only way that you can find anything that is okay with that is by going into an echo chamber of people that are like that, I guess. Outside that, you're not doing anything good or worthwhile for humanity in general. Your civilization, your city, your county, your state, your country. You're only doing yourself wrong. You're only doing everyone else wrong. You're being selfish. You're being destructive, self-destructive. Men, just like I used in my other video as an example, use that karma circle. This half is masculine, men, man things. This half is femininity, females, women things. Therefore, there's balance. What happens when femininity tries to take over masculinity, masculine roles? That. Unbalance, which eventually leads to a collapse. As anyone of a high scholarly, educational, whatever you want to call it, manner knows, balance is key to everything. If you don't have balance, you don't have a counter to one thing or the other, it's gonna turn out bad for you. There is such thing as too much happiness, too much good. Such as, for an example, candy. Makes people happy, right? It's totally a good thing, That's why people are rewarded with it. They're given it, and that's one of their favorite treats. Candy, ice cream, woo! But what happens when that's the only thing you consume? The only thing you put into your body? All day, every day. It's going to turn out real bad for you after a while. Just like there can be too much of a bad thing, which doesn't really need explaining, I guess, but bad things just exacerbate worse things, really. Bad behavior and things of that nature. So, again, there needs to be a balance. The bad keeps the good in check, and the good keeps the bad in check. You can't really truly understand and appreciate the good in life without the bad. Likewise, you can't really understand happiness or appreciate happiness without being in a bad situation or experiencing bad things once in a while. Because if you live in happy land for too long, then you start to really lose the appreciation to it. You take it for granted. But when life humbles you and makes your face smack that ground and eat that humble pie, you're just like, oh shit, I crave and I yearn for the good. So what's that all have to do with male and female gender roles? Well, quite simply, nature, God, or whatever you believe in, designed specific attributes, characteristics, personality traits, and so on and so forth for man and for woman. Not to say that one is better than the other, either. That is not what is being said, as many feminists like to propagandize on that. But certain factors, certain things are designed for male only. Sure, females can do it, I guess, but were they designed for it? No. Likewise, male to the female activities. I mean, for instance, how weird would it be to see a baby sucking on a man's tit? No, that was designed for females, not men. So whether you believe in a god, an entity, or whatever, regardless, there is specific set gender roles for society, for women and men specifically. So when I say man things, I really mean man things. So we're talking the hard laborious work, whether it be construction, mine coal, mining such as coal and things of that nature, work in the pipelines, anything of that nature that requires strenuous, arduous, back-breaking physical work. That is so very much designed for the male to do. Not because the female is inadequate and can't do it, it's just that's what he was designed to do and excel in doing. This is the balance. He's supposed to do those things, whilst the females were designed to be nurturing. They were designed not to be out doing those laborious, back-breaking physical acts of work. Not because they can't, but because they weren't designed to. Just like males weren't designed to have a child feast off their boob, their tit, their nipple. Which, males can't even do at all. So, in that case, it is because man can't do that. And females can. It's one of the rare things that men really can't do, but women actually can do type situations. So, take that in consideration. Anyways, so yeah, women were designed to be the nurturers, to be the ones to feed the children, keep the house clean, things of that nature. While the man does everything else, the woman does the the home base stuff. So she has her roles, her things to do, whilst the man has his things to do. It's really not a bad thing. It's just balance, countering one another. Man does this, woman does that. They're on the same playing field. They're equal human beings. They're just doing different things for different purposes because they were designed to do these different things and different purposes. It's nothing more than that. And I don't understand why people have such a hard time understanding and getting that. Sure, you can make, as one of my friends and I conversed about it back in the day, that times have changed and you can't afford to be a patriarch anymore. But as I explained in my patriarch video, that's because feminism and capitalism are hand in hand. Women doubled the workforce, allowing for people to lower and cut the pay because of simple supply and demand. If it was only men out there working, they'd get paid a lot more. So anyway, that has more to do with the whole, systematic destruction of societal and what have you. But still, it applies here. There's no balance in the workforce anymore. It's just females and males fighting over a job now, and it should not be that way. But because it is that way, it's causing disharmony, it's causing problems, so on and so forth. So what I'm getting at here is that because people, particularly females in today's culture and world, are so adamantly fighting their, naturally designed roles and attributes and characteristics and such, that it's causing this disharmony that we're seeing in this world. And as Ava Brighton so eloquently spoke on, and it's why we live in such a PC type world of safe spaces and how everything's now offensive because everything's got to be feminine related. There is no counter, there is no masculine counter to all this femininity. It's just feminine this and feminine that, and hyper focusing on gynocentrism and feminism. There is no spotlight or counterist type spotlight to all this feminine relation stuff that's being forced down our throats. And so because of this lack of masculinity, it's causing more disharmony on top of that. It's causing males to lose their purpose in the world, their sense of being, and so on and so forth. And the more matriarchal and gynocentric and feministic this world gets, we're going to become, like I mentioned in that video before, where unpatriarchal societies are terrible, because men have no reason not to do the things that he would otherwise be restraining himself from doing. Their sole purpose is to be a sperm donor and gratify their own whims. They have no sense of paternity, so they just do whatever they want whenever they want. And because the children raised in such an unpatriarchal and maternally gynocentric type of an atmosphere are raised only by feminine relations, and they don't have a masculinity to counter it, they grow up violent, rootless, and with no reason to do anything other than whatever they want and whatever they feel like doing. Women don't feel this lack of purpose because they are the ones who give the birth. So without this need, this drive and compellingness to move on and go further, society stays at a standstill, it becomes disharmonic, and we just collapse from there on out. And we're already seeing it all the time. Soon enough, should we become more gynocentric and more matriarchal, the more we'll see women become raped, robbed, and attacked for no reason other than just because. Because of the fact that everything's becoming feminine, matriarchal, gynocentric, feministic. Because there needs to be balance, damn it. Balance. Balance. Not this, but this. This. Not this. If you don't get what I'm saying here, then I feel bad for you, but I'll try to sum it up here real quick. Without balance comes chaos, and with chaos comes collapse, and with collapse comes the end of civilization. And what does it all start out with? Losing that balance. So to sustain as a society and culture and species, we must keep balance. But with feminists and gynocentric females wanting to take over every single thing in all aspects of life, that's dramatically destroying that balance. They are fighting against their own biological nature. They're prioritizing being more manly than they are being feminine. I mean, they're doing everything wrong and everything they're not supposed to be doing. They are theoretically punching that tornado and trying to push away a tidal wave. And they think by yelling at the damn hurricane that the hurricane's gonna go away. That's what they're theoretically doing. So, if you don't get what I'm saying, then I feel sorry for you, but those that do will get it. So, till next time.